Hi everyone. If you like the way I teach and want me to be your teacher, the link to my engineering fundamental school is in the description below. Enjoy the video. In the last video, we reviewed the idea of the moment vector, where we said a moment was a position vector crossed with a force. We usually try to avoid this cross product because it's error prone, it's time consuming, and it doesn't give us a good sense about the problem. And this is the most important idea. We're simply plugging into a mathematical operation, so the physics of the problem is unclear. And engineers like to understand the problems that they're doing, so we usually use a different way. Still aware of the definition, just in a slightly different format. Let's go ahead and do an example where we highlight some of the differences between how engineers take a moment and the definition of the moment. Let's say we have a beam and this beam is simply supported. We'll learn more about what that means later in the course, but for now, this beam is simply supported. We have a Cartesian coordinate system. There is a load applied on this beam at a certain angle from the vertical. The dimensions are given, and our goal is to find the moment about the origin, O. The first method we're going to use is relying on the cross product. We remember that the cross product is R cross F, where R is just the blue vector shown, and F is the red vector. The moment could be three-dimensional, but since we're in the xy plane, the result of the cross product is always going to be perpendicular to the xy plane, or the z direction. So technically, the cross product is one-dimensional here. It only has a z component because it's along the z-axis. This is an important idea. For two-dimensional problems, the moment is always only along the z-axis. Let's plug into the definition here. R is just Rx in the I, and our force can be described by negative Fx in the I minus Fy in the J, because it has two negative components. The cross product does distribute to a sum, so this is how we're going to expand the cross products here. If you observe if we distribute that first term, we have I cross I, and of course the area produced, or the magnitude of the cross product of two vectors which are parallel, is going to be 0. So that term doesn't contribute. The next term will. So what we'll have to do is draw out our triad. I, J, and K form a triad where I cross J is K, K cross I is J. Essentially, as we traverse this triad going clockwise, we can read off the result of the cross product by just going in this cycle. If we go the other way, like K cross J, we just introduce a negative sign, which would be negative I. So here, what we have is I cross J, which is just K. If we plug in the numbers, we get around negative 3,400 foot-pounds. Now, if we recall that moment is only along one axis, right? And it makes sense that it's along one axis because we're in the Cartesian plane, the XY system. If we project this vector onto the z-axis, and it's fully in the z-axis, what we'll get is just a negative 3,400 foot-pounds. What does this negative mean? The negative means that if we point our thumb in the direction of the negative z-axis, our four fingers will curl in a clockwise fashion. And the reverse is also true. If we point our fingers in the positive z-axis, our fingers will curl counterclockwise. This is why usually if we're using a normal Cartesian system where x is right and y is up, we'll say counterclockwise moments correspond to a positive value, while clockwise moments correspond to a negative value. Let's go ahead and move on to our second method. Our second method is how engineers would take this moment. Now, of course, engineers are still aware of the fact that a moment is an R cross an F. But you see, if we break this force into components shown above, some components will not contribute. That sine component doesn't contribute because it's parallel to our position vector. So our formula kind of reduces into just a force times a distance. Our force is just a 500 cosine 30, and our distance is 8 feet. And if we look at the sense of the moment, how that force is going to cause the position vector to rotate, it's going to be in the clockwise orientation, meaning that that moment is going to be pointing in the minus k direction. If we just look at the magnitude of mz, what we get is that it's negative 3,400 foot-pounds. And of course, that negative corresponds to a clockwise motion. Let's extend this problem slightly by introducing a z-axis. We'll draw our old position vector at O and introduce a new point, O prime, and a new position vector R prime. What we want to do is find the moments about the points O prime. We can go ahead and perform our Laplace expansion, noting that the position vector has gained its z components. It's going to have an mx, an my, but what's interesting is the mz component. If you observe, the mz component is exactly the same as the previous two mz components, meaning that, even though the mx and my are different, the mz is exactly the same. What this means is that we can choose any position vector along the z-axis and it will give exactly the same moment components along that axis, or mz. Engineers use this idea to find the components of a moment vector about each axis individually and then combine them to create the total moment vector. If you're enjoying the video thus far, please like and subscribe as it helps me out a lot. Let's go ahead and move on to an example where we demonstrate this idea. We have a 3D Cartesian system with a force of 100 pounds placed at a certain distance away from the origin, and our goal is to find the moment about point O without using the cross product, and then verify with the cross product. Let's start off with just taking the cross product. So once we find our actual answer, we can easily verify it. If we perform the Laplace expansion, we can get the following answer. Note that you can expand the determinant based off of any row. So we can expand based off of the bottom row, and this is useful because there's a lot of zeros in that bottom row. So I expanded based off of the bottom row, and I got the following result. It's 800 in the I minus 600 in the K, and that's in foot-pounds. What I just drew on the screen is a representation of the moment vector. We typically use double arrows to represent moment vectors, and this kind of makes sense. If I draw out that position vector that I used and the force pointing straight down, if we took their cross product, it would generally be pointing in that direction. It would have a positive x component and a negative z component. How would engineers take this moment without using the cross product? Well, what we would do is take it about each axis. The first thing with the x-axis is what position vector along the x-axis will be easiest. Remembering that we can use any position vector along the x-axis to find this value from what we previously discussed. The easiest one would be the one which is 8 feet long, because that's the distance that's given. 100 times 8 is going to be 800 foot-pounds. Which direction does it point? Think about the rotation of that position vector. If you curl your fingers in the direction that that vector is going to be rotating, the position vector is going to be rotating, what you can see is that your thumb is going to point in the positive x-axis, meaning that that moment is a positive value. What about my? Parallel forces to an axis cannot produce a rotation about that axis. So there is no moment produced about the y-axis. And that kind of makes sense. There's no way that that force can rotate around that axis. What about the moment around the z-axis? Again, we think, what position vector along the z-axis will be easiest? We draw that position vector, which is 6 foot long, and we think about the sign of the moment at this point. If we kind of curl our fingers in the direction that that would be rotating, we can see that our thumb would be pointing in the negative z direction, meaning that our moment should have a negative value. If we combine the components of the moment vector that we calculated, what we end up getting is that the moment is 800 in the I minus 600 in the K, which is exactly the same as what we got before. I hope this video helped you understand how engineers take a moment in 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions. Keep learning and keep working hard. Goodbye.